Hello guys and welcome to a new video. We have a new announcement to go over. This is the preview of rebalanced unique items in Path of Exile. This is a long thread, so we'll try to go through this quicker here. In Path of Exile Harvest, we're rebalancing over 50 unique items. Some have received numerical buffs, while others have received new mods and mechanics. We're really excited about the possibilities that many of these unlock. While we plan to reveal more of these over time, we're prepared to preview of 10 rebalanced uniques to whet your appetite. Rigwall's Savagery and Rigwall's Command. Rigwall's Savagery. 54 to 165 physical damage, 40% increased physical attack damage while dual wielding. Where two of these you have 80% increased physical damage, 14% increased attack speed, 25 maximum rage while wielding a sword. Okay, so if you wear both these together, 10% block chance, damage while wielding, accuracy rating, +1 to damage over time multiply for bleeding per rage while wielding an axe. So this would be like a bleeding setup. Rigwall's Savagery no longer grants increased attack speed with swords or chance to bleed, but now has a new mod that increases your maximum rage by 25 while wielding a sword. Rigwall's Command no longer grants increased physical damage with axes or chance to gain a frenzy charge on kill, but now grants a multiplier of your bleeding damage equal to the amount of rage when you have while wielding an axe. Originally, these weapons were only available as a rare drop from the Rigwall's encounter, and they've lost their edge as time has passed. We sharpen their rage-fueled identities with new mods that synergize with each other. Though, of course, you're also free to use them separately and invoke the Rigwall's fight. Broken Faith. All res Chaos Leech as life. Ooh, that's interesting. Chance to block. Increase global armor while you have no energy shield. You have Unholy Might while you have no energy shield. Increase Profane Ground instead of Consecrated Ground. This would work with the new passive where you have 0 energy shield. Broken Faith now has its original negative 10% block chance mod instead of the negative or +5 block chance. You lose block chance. It now grants Unholy Might while you have no energy shield instead of temporary when you block. While holding it, now create Profane Ground instead of Consecrated Ground. This new ground effect reduces all enemy resistances as well as making them more likely to be critically hit, but does not provide the life regeneration that Consecrated Ground does. Okay. The first version of Broken Faith added to the game had below average defensive stats for the shield in exchange for the access for power to powerful damage. We're trying to return it to that role with new mods that offer large amounts of damage but the weak block chance of the original. Profane Ground also has all new visual effects that echo the theme of the item. Okay. Ungol's Harmony, what did they change? Dex and Int, global critical strike, life, mana, stun block. Your critical strikes do not deal extra damage. Now causes your critical strike to deal no extra damage at all instead of negative 25% to critical multiplier, but provides up to 350% increased critical strike chance instead of the old 100%. We doubled down on the existing stats of this item, giving it an unparalleled amount of critical strike chance, but now making your crits deal no extra damage at all. This would be good on a cast on crit build. Builds that carry only about dealing critical strikes now will have a way to do so much more consistently even at quite low levels. Yeah, so cast on crit builds. So this would be a good one for cast on crit. I mean, a level 23 and you get 350% increased global critical strike chance. Yeah. Blood Dance. Blood Dance now gives 0.8% life regeneration per frenzy charge from 0.5 and up to 30% increased damage against enemies on low life per frenzy charge instead of 6. Wow. 24% increase. In exchange, it now reduces the attack and cast speed granted by frenzy charges by 4% up from 3%. Okay. Frenzy charge transferred nature of these boots has found uses over the years, but more than ever, they now turn you into a bloody crazed fiend. The life regeneration per frenzy charge has been substantially increased, and with the investment you can receive a massive amount of damage against enemies who are near death. Even make your frenzy charges themselves drip blood now. Well, that's kind of cool. 4 footprints. Wildfire Jewel. No longer grants Molten Strike additional projectiles or area of effect. Instead, it now allows Molten Strike projectiles to chain and gives them +1 chain. Halves the number of projectiles created. Pretty big nerf. Some Path of Exile's Threshold Jewels encourage different playstyles for the skills they interact with. Others just buff the skill. We're slowly moving towards the former type, making changes to existing Threshold Jewels that feel mandatory for their skill. Wildfire used to provide a large, almost free boost to Molten Strike damage. It has now been completely redesigned to create a new playstyle for Molten Strike, covering much more area with bouncing magma balls, but dealing lower single target damage. Molten Strike damage has been buffed to compensate for the loss of old Wildfire. Okay, so they increased Molten Strike's damage to make up for the fact that it no longer casts multiple balls. The distance traveled by its projectiles also properly scales with projectile speed now, letting you control their speed as much as you... Okay, so you can make it go farther. More AoE. Embrace. Trigger level 20 Bone Nova when you hit a bleeding enemy. Physical damage. Level 64 item. Chance to inflict bleeding when hitting cursed enemies. Bone Nova skill granted by Ultil Nettle's Embrace now triggers on hitting a enemy instead of killing a bleeding. A Breach exclusive unique upgraded by defeating the mighty Breach Lord Ulnatol could be suitably intimidating, but the build around potential of Ulnatol's Embrace was always hampered by not being trigger its signature Bone Nova against strong enemies. So we've changed it so that it now also triggers at the location of the enemy you hit instead of firing from the player's location, and you still hit the enemy you triggered from it. Okay. Hot-footed. The movement speed while ignited granted by Hot-footed has been increased from 10 to 15% to 10 to 20%. Attack speed and cast speed mods added with values. Get increased attack speed, cast speed, and movement speed now. Ignited. Builds that set themselves on fire have been around for a while, but they never really exactly broken the meta. I want to give Pyromaniac Exiles all the help they can. Okay, so build. For speed running. In Rattler Grinder. Now grants 50% chance to shock enemies instead of 15%. So it increases it a lot, and shocks if inflicted 300% more damage in order to cause stronger shocks. Shocks as if inflicting 300% more damage in order to cause stronger shocks. Another boss exclusive weapon that has never quite seemed to live up to this fantasy it offers. Brain Rattler is a weapon for people who want to go all in on shocks with a melee build, as opposed to the spellcasters who traditionally invest in shock. We've powered up its shocking capability so that it can apparently reward these builds. Okay. Dark Seer. Global damage bonus has been increased from 30 to 50% to 40 to 60%. Chance to blind enemies on hit has been increased from 7% to 10%. A pretty significant buff, 10%. It now prevents blind from lowering your accuracy rather than making you completely into blind. And it lets you inflict the powerful malediction debuff on enemies if you blind them while you, the player, are blinded yourself. How are you going to blind yourself? That is for you to work out. Okay. Curse Reflection. Curses that you cast are now on yourself. That's an actual item. Okay. I mean, it's a start. This is a big one. I think the Ungirl's Harmony is probably one of the biggest ones, and then the Broken Faith is really nice as well. The chaos damage leeches life is going to be really good for any chaos damage leveling characters. So Essence, Drain, Contagion, Bane, those are going to be good ones to get. It can increase. You're going to be able to get a lot of life off of that, and you'll have a lot of armor. You'll get Unholy Might, and you'll get Profane Ground. So that's a pretty nice shield for Essence, Drain, Contagion. But you do have to go full life instead of energy shield. Well, these are interesting. Here's 10 of the 50 that are reworks. I'm really curious to see what the new ones they have, because they also said they have 20 new ones coming in, so I'm sure that one's coming up soon. So this is a little bit to kind of understand what's going on. These numbers, I assume they're probably going to be like set to this, just because this is what they say it is, and they give the specific numbers on it. So I don't think these are going to be changing. These are what they are for the actual league start. So I can imagine this amulet is going to go up in price a lot. For any cast on crit build, this is going to be very, very nice for low levels. Well, that's all for this video. Until the next one, peace out, XL.